movie. No, I'm being totally serious, but no,
Yeah,
I love
get it.
I love everything that you said. And even if you disagreed with me, I would still like love it. Like I just I love that chess story. Like, cause that was like, cause chess really is like, or we think of chess as this head game and this and that, and your brother just sat down and instinctively.
Yeah, I'm going to take that piece. I'm going to take that piece. I'm going to wait. No, I'm going to take that piece. I'm going to get that one. I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take that one. And then he won. I mean, people have asked me about, and I know this interview is "Are These Our Lives" heavy, but I mean, people have asked me about the lyrics to "Are These Our Lives" for 20 years, and at the end of the day, it took me 2 years. Like it was all of 1998, late 97. We started coming up with ideas all through 98, recorded whenever, the point is it took forever and a day for me to write these lyrics. Does that mean I'm talented? No, it means I'm a struggling, like try to figure it out lyric writer guy. You know what I mean? Like there were constant frustrations and me just staring at the page blankly for days thinking, should it be the or and there? And just like getting these fights with myself. I think that there's lots of room for people who don't fancy themselves artists, writers, lyricists, etc., to create incredible art, whether that's music or whatever, just by trying, just by going for it. That would be the invitation, is to enter into creative process. I mean, the thing ultimately is that creative processes, and I often speak about this in my keynotes, it's not a through line, right? You don't start at point here and end up point here and you're immensely successful with the process. It's a sine wave. It goes up and down like a sine wave. And on the heights of the sine wave, you're sitting around going, I'm a genius. Look how well I write. I'm so funny and so creative and so incredible. And then at the depths of it, if you're like me, like I'm a disaster, my life's a failure, I'm in ruin. And then all of a sudden the next week, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm such a clear thinking wizard of words. And then I can't exist anymore. Like it's all over the map, right?
But
Like
I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, when you have those moments of I'm a disaster, you also have enough foresight or enough thought to go, I'm feeling this right now. Next week.
Now, that's the key. It's if you expect it's going to be an easy through line, you're going to be woefully disappointed and frustrated. If you weather those storms and have the vision of whatever you're trying to do, like I really want this record to work out, then when you're at the low point, the trough, rather than at the crest of the wave, of the sine wave, you're going to stay in it. An artistic process is about staying in it. It's about staying in the game. It's about staying in the process. If you quit the process, you're done. There is no creation. If you stay in the process, regardless of how frustrating it is, then you get to where you want it to be, or somewhere, even if it's not here, even if you end up over here, like the sine wave brought you all the way back here, you're going to end up with a finished product of some kind, but you've got to stay in the process, regardless of those, crests or troughs, or else there will be no creation. So you got to stay in it. You got to hold on to that little shred of vision, even when you're feeling terrible about the process or about yourself or whatever it might be, because that's what's going to get you to, no glorified, not intending to sound glorified. That's what's going to get you to the finish line. That's really what's going to get you to the finish line. The only thing that's going to get you to the finish line.
You do a lot of posts that are very positive, but you've also done some where you've like talked about like gotten very personal, talked about like mental health and stuff like that. And I wanted to do this, and I'm going to do this in the interview, but I wanted to thank you for that, just because it's easy to see everything that you're doing and to see how much work you put in on this project and helping these people, but also to kind of realize, hey man, there's a human behind this that has good days and bad days, just like we all do. And just, I just thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. I wish I had done more of that over the years, to be sure. Cause like, I think that there were times where I've posted this, like from the standpoint of like, things are good or things are great, or like, here's something to inspire. And every time people have said to me, like that my posts are like feel good, right? Or that I'm so posy. I think to myself, really? Like I'm a disaster half the time, like anybody else, right? Like, I mean, like, let's be realistic, So I wish I had done more of that over the years, and I've definitely done more of that in the last couple of years. I think that we've all experienced in the last a couple of years since COVID and other experiences, a shift of consciousness. But I know for myself, like George Floyd, that whole time, May of 2020 and beyond, everything's been different. Like everything's been different. It's just a different reality, a different world, a different everything. That was like breaking point moment where I was like, all right, everything's got to change, like 100%, like everything's got to change. So yeah, you're welcome, and thank you. I mean, thank you, because like there's no post that exists in a vacuum except if people are just like completely foolish. Like a post exists because there's a reader and an interaction, or there was a conversation, or there was a connection. I mean, we are very much social creatures, and posts don't exist. They don't get generated out of nowhere. They get generated because of connections and because of relationships and whatnot. So thank you for being part of whatever relationship led to the relatability of the posts that you've seen.
How, and I think this might be the last question, how did you, I've always wanted to ask this, how did you get into juggling? Like, and
that's such a good question.
do you study it? Like, remember you were talking about chess? Like, did you study it in that way?
So, okay, you rule. So this is an interesting question, especially that you brought it up that way, because I don't know if you know this. Since we're doing B sides today, I'm an avid rabid coin collector.
Well, I know that now, and you did that post, and I thought, okay, he doesn't do posts that are like ironic. Like he's not just, oh, I'm going to a coin collecting thing and blah blah blah. Like you were legitimately there, and so yeah, go 100%.
Yeah, like I know more about coins than I know about hardcore, than I know about anything. I certainly know more about hardcore. Like my gosh, like yeah, coins is where it's at, and has been since I was about 7 years old, and all the years of trial, I was always reading about coins, thinking about coins. It's nonstop. We could do an entire hour and a half on coins sometime, which I think might be the most, for your listeners, maybe the most boring interview.
I want to do it. I want to do it. No, I'm not even kidding. I want to do it.
Okay.
Which brings me to a mid answer question then. Do you have a crazy coin collection?
I have a crazy coin collection.
Right.
Yeah, and specifically a crazy coin collection made up of error coins that were struck off center, double struck, misstruck from ancient Greece, from around the world, and Canadian and U.S. But yeah, like yeah, it's pretty nuts, like pretty wild. It's extensive, and I could get into it, and we could talk for hours. The point is, right? The point is that you asked, did I study juggling the way one studies chess? And the reason I brought up coins is because I write for coin publications. I do interviews and write a column for a coin publication. And some of the
interviews did that start?
Within the last year.
Okay.
Year and a half. Yeah. So I'm doing interviews now with notable numismatists, coin experts, and I'm interviewing a guy next week whose main focus of his work is, why is it that numismatics, coin, the study of coins and the history of coins, why is that not a bona fide academic pursuit? Why is it not an academic subject that people study in the United States? You can get a master's degree in numismatics at a university in Austria, but you can't do that here because it's been relegated. Coins have been relegated to be a hobby. And this guy's point is, we should be able to study the history of coins as it relates to culture, and coins as it relates to commerce. We should be able to study that with the same intensity that we study psychology, but people instead see it as, oh, you like pottery, that sort of thing. So they see it as similar, like a hobby or a craft or something like that, but not nearly the academic pursuit that he would like to see it as. Anyway, so when you say, did I study coins? I've been, or rather, did I study juggling? I've been into juggling, but I really, really wish that juggling was an academic pursuit as well, because I would have gotten a master's degree in juggling. The way it all came about, and I know that was a sidebar.
No, it was awesome.
More than you needed.
No, we're doing the coin interview.
Well, here's the connection.